Alright everybody, this is a video to show you how to get the system Studio number 1 up to speed. So it's going to be fire up procedure and pre-production check to make sure that everything is in working order. So first of all, you see this is what the studio looks like when it's all powered up. So I'm going to pause the computer or the camera and then power it down, and then we'll do the thing. So we'll do that and show you first of all, as we move back behind this chair here, this is the power switch. We zoom in so you can see it's pointing towards the door, which means power up the studio. A little opposite, but that's the way it is. So let's power this thing down, and you'll see as we put it towards the board, everything goes off. Okay, so the CPU down underneath the counter stays on all the time. So that's not part of the master power switch. So you can see that the board itself is off and the rack is off and all that kind of stuff. A lot of folks try to turn the individual powers off, and that's all fine and good. They're trying to be helpful, but it's really not, because we have the master power. So that's kind of the thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over and flick the power switch, turn it on, and then we'll see what comes up. We'll see that the monitor, you should turn off the monitor, so you'll have to actually turn on the monitor. Okay, so this is what we've got. We've got, well, sometimes you may turn on the monitor, sometimes it may not be, but we generally don't want that thing to cook, so we'll go ahead and turn on the monitor. And you can see everything is all powered up. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. The object behind setting up the production studio is to identify whether gear is working or whether it needs to be looked at by a staff person or whatever. After you've done minor troubleshooting, you may be able to overcome the problem yourself, but generally if it's working, then that's cool. If it's not working, then call a staff person. So anyway, here we go. First of all, what we're going to do, we're going to load a well, we already have a track in the CD player, so we're going to go ahead and get it playing first of all. There we go. We're going to hit the play button, and we're going to go over here and go to channel number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn on the key and fade up the fader, because that's where CD number 1 comes in, and we'll make sure we're doing the right thing here. CD number 1, okay. Now when you first come into the board here, you should see that everything should be normaled. All the faders are down, all the volume controls are down, and everything is pretty well low key here. Your assigns will be set to program, and that's the way they should be, with the exception of channel 8, which we just see over here, and it's going into audition. So that's the deal. Everything else is in program, and then you see that there are no designations for the monitoring, so you'll have to set those, and so that's what we're going to do. So here's what we're going to do at this point. Since we're working in program, we got to set the program monitoring button in play, and you can see it's really easy. Everything's all in the line, and if you go across the board from left to right, you see that if you're working in program, you have to be listening in program. Later on, if you decide that you want to work with the audio editor, then you'll listen to audition. See, right here. So when you first come onto the board and power it up, everything's going to be pretty low key, and you'll have to hit that yourself. Okay, let's see. So we've got a CD, and let's see, is it playing in the machine? It's actually playing. We see the counter elapsing, so that's a good sign. And now we'll go over here to the board, and we're going to fade up the thing here, fade up the fader, and take a look at the meters and take a look at what kind of levels we're getting. And those levels are okay. They could be a little bit higher, so we'll raise them up. And if you have meters that don't match, then you use the higher of the two. All right, so once you got that set, you're in good shape. So we've established that CD music is coming to the board, going into channel 5, coming up and getting sent to program, and you'd see it on the meters. So now what you do is you put your headphones on your head, and you go over here to the HDPN headphone output, and you slowly raise the headphones. And you're wondering, where do we plug in the headphones at? I told you in earlier videos, but here we go. Right there in the corner, right-hand corner at the front of the board is the headphone output. It's a 1/4 inch jack, so you plug it in there. So plug in your headphones and then put them on your head and slowly turn up the volume until you have a comfortable listening experience. And then what you're doing is you're listening and you're watching the meters, and you're saying, okay, that looks good and this sounds good. So that's what we're doing. And now then you take your headphones off your head and you leave them alone at this point. So the next thing that you do is you go to the studio control room, and it's labeled CR down there, control room volume, and you slowly turn it up until it's good for you. Okay, so now once you got that level set, you leave it alone. So now your headphones and your speakers are set. By the way, these are the control room monitor speakers that we're talking about here. So the main speakers are what you deal with the control room. Okay, so now we're gonna adjust the Q speaker, which is right here. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go find our channel, and you notice that the Q send is not set. So normally you only use that when you want to hear something in Q and don't send it to program. So we're going to punch it up, and you can see it's light. It lit up. That's what I want to say. And you can also see down here there's another indication that tells you that something is in Q, and it's above the Q volume. All right, so we're going to raise up the Q volume, and we're going to listen to this speaker right here. And the idea is that you want to have it a little bit louder than the main so that you can tell the difference between your program audio and your Q audio. So now we're good. Okay, so now we hear it. And just to be on the safe side, we're going to go over here and take it out of Q and then put it back in Q. And you can listen to the difference in the sound. Okay, so now we're in good shape. Everything's cool. And we'll go and re-cue the CD. Hit the pause button and take the track knob back 1 tick. So now it's at the beginning, and it's going to hold in the beginning. And wait there until you want to use it in your show. Okay, so let's recap here. We started off with a CD player. We got the music going into channel 5, going up to program and look at the meters, and we took a good look at that. And then we went over to the headphones, and we adjusted our headphone level till it was comfortable for us. We did the same thing after taking those headphones off of our head. We did the same thing with the main speakers, and we adjusted that, and then after we did, we went and dealt with the Q speaker and adjusted that. So now at this point, all your monitoring systems are ready to go, and you know they're working fine, and they're set to your comfort level. So the last thing that you do is you go to the microphone and put your headphones back on your head, and turn the key on to the microphone, and then fade up the mic until it has a good level, and then when you speak into it, you'll be able to hear yourself through your headphones, and you'll be able to watch your audio on the meters. So that's the deal right there. Okay, and while all of this stuff is going on, all you really have to do for the audio recorder is just to go and hit the restart button. And of course we have done that a little bit, I think, in videos past, but basically there's your start button right there. It's the start. It's the lower left hand corner of the screen, and you click it with the left mouse button and restart the computer. You know, maybe we should probably run through that just to be safe. Well, first of all, I'm gonna go and see if I can do this and hold the camera at the same time. It might be a little freaky, but the idea here is you want to go down here to the start menu, and see, I have trouble with the cursor. There we go. So you click it once with the left mouse button and you get the shutdown option. That's what you want to select. And then select it with the left mouse button, and you see over here that you have a bunch of different options, but really it should say restart right there. And when it does, then you just go over here and you click OK, and the machine itself will do its job. It's going to boot and then reboot, and then automatically load the operating system, and then it's going to load the actually the Audition application. So the Audition, Adobe Audition, is the reason that we call it a digital audio workstation, or DAW for short. So that's what it is. And you remember from your other training videos that comes up on channel 8 of the console. So anyway, it's doing its thing, and while it works, you can go over and deal with all your other setup procedures. And I'm just letting you go through and see. Here it is. It's booted up the desktop. It's already run through its security procedures. And a little while later, you're going to see the splash screen for the Adobe. And hopefully it'll be messed up so I can show you how to get it to look right. So we'll take a look and see. A lot of times people do some things and it's not cool. Well, nah, it's good. That's the way it should look. Maybe if we have troubles, I'll show you how to fix it later on. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I mean, at this point, you have all of the studio working. You've tested it. You've set your levels. You've got the computer working, and the microphone is working. That's the last thing that you did. And so everything should be ready for you to create some cool radio programming. And if you have issues, the best thing to do is to try and identify the problem yourself, but don't take too much action. If it's not working out, then try to get a hold of a staff person, and if worse comes to worse and they can't help you, you can have them try to get a hold of me at home, and then I can try to work you through the phone or something like that. And if still worse comes to worse, then file a discrepancy report on it, and then we'll get to it when we come back to work the next business day. So that's my story, and now we're going to move on to other videos in the series. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully that helped you out in your progress to become a better radio producer.